Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, wherever you are. It's on YouTube, so it could be good morning, good evening, good night. Kenneth Price on Sunday, September 24th for psychiatricsobriety.com, our Sunday morning Zoom call, 9 a.m. Pacific time. I'm on board with my three mighty companions, my three regulars, beloved Jody and Marcy. And this is going to be a powerful Zoom call. Thank goodness for this technology that we can record this, because we're going to go into the heart of darkness. Anybody ever read that book by Joseph Conrad? It was called The Heart of Darkness. Well, that's exactly what it takes to emerge from mental illness. And this is where the work takes place. And I am so honored and privileged that we're going to be recording this. People in a lot of new age communities just want to, say it's all unicorns and it's all rainbows and we're all one and it's all unity. And, if you can skate by on that, more power to you. But if calamity and truth and trauma enter your awareness, and if you haven't been handed, a huge coping skill toolbox, then a lot of us will descend into mental illness according to the allopathic model Western perspective. The more the purpose of this community, the purpose of this ministry, the purpose of this Zoom call is to find all of us who believe this is a bottom and to demonstrate that's simply not true. From the Western perspective, from the caterpillar perspective, this is a bottom. We're not caterpillars, and we're not dealing from the old paradigm model. We're looking at this completely different. This, for us, is an opportunity. And I say this with conviction, because we're going to take what other people think is shit in the next hour, and we're going to emerge it into fertilizer, and we're going to germinate a beautiful flower which could not have bloomed otherwise. But this is going to be an intense hour. So I forewarn you, if you're on a Zoom call, you're not going to hear a lot of la, 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 la. You're going to hear the real deal. Because I was 25 years, and I've told this on every single one of my Zoom calls, I spent 25 years of my life in psychiatry, trying to fix, trying to heal, trying to fill in the blank. And I just got worse and worse and worse, because Einstein said you cannot solve a problem with the same mind that created the problem. The dream character trying to fix the dream character obliterated into a spiral, which put me into a cocoon. I call it a pharmacologically induced cocoon. Nothing went wrong, because you cannot go from caterpillar to butterfly without that intermediate stage. However, that intermediate stage is like giving birth. And that's where we meet one another for this next hour in that cocoon, so we can offer experience, strength, and hope to others to notice that they're not caterpillars, they're butterflies. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. For harm reduction purposes, you guys, I know I call this psychiatric sobriety, but we're not telling anybody they need to get off their meds. We're not here to protest psychiatry. We're here to share emergence together. And when that happened in my story, I didn't quit psychiatry. Psychiatry quit me. I didn't quit my pills. My pills quit me. So anyway, this is my contribution, because once a person emerges from all of this, the only way to share emergence is to keep emergence is to share emergence. I have to emerge myself every single day. And everyone who comes on this call is coming on because we realize this is a day by day discipline, because the butterfly works with an I don't know mind and a beginner's mind every single day. That's what keeps us humble. It's the humility fuels the butterfly, not credentials, which I have none of, and which I'm not going to be getting any of. Therefore, since it's a ministry, here's how we start every Zoom call. We use the healer's prayer, because I am a Course in Miracles student. Many who come on board are. Healer's prayer goes like this: we are here only to be truly helpful, and we are here to represent him or her who sent us. We do not have to worry about what to say or what to do, because he or she who sent us will direct us. We are content to be wherever he or she wishes, knowing he or she goes there with us. And we will be healed as we let him or her teach us how to heal. I'm not reinventing the wheel, neither are any of us. It's just basically when two or more are gathered. All right, who wants to go from there? Jody, can you unmute yourself? Sure. Jody, can you let it rip? I want this documented. Please give us the raw, unbridled because last week when you did that, what came out was something that I saw was beauty, your beauty. Got the courage to do it for us.
Thank you. Well, I'll just kind of try to go from what I said before the Zoom call started, that I'm in this really powerful process right now that is partially, having me bow to the ground in gratitude. And the other part is just having all of these fucking temper tantrums. And so what I'm realizing, and I'm just like waking up, I'm recognizing the ego. I see the ego. I see the games. I see the stories. And I am becoming that awareness that watches. And I'm getting sucked in still. And so like I was really into Keith Kavanaugh videos, and I've kind of jumped into David Hoffmeister videos now. And so it's this process of undoing the mind, undoing the ego, learning to recognize being that awake one. What a fucking journey. It is intense. And what I said, and I'm just going to own this online, because this is part of like a huge part of my fear and the stories that I'm letting go of. And I think I touched on this last week, like it's the ego story to be separate, to be victimized, right? And so guess what, guys? That's my story. I was abandoned as a child. I was emotionally neglected. I have a narcissistic mother, like, all of this real stuff that's so fucking painful. You know what the cool thing is? These are all just stories. This is all part of the script. And I get to wake up and I get to realize, wow, I was so wrong. None of that's real. What is real? And I touched on this last week. Like, what is real here? What is really going on? What a trip.
Jody, I asked you to do this last week, but again, since it's being recorded, any possible way you could just I know it's not possible, but to synopsize, your story, because what happened, what it was like, and what it's like now.
So I've been on this journey for 13 years, right? My waking up journey. 13 years ago, I woke up strapped to a hospital bed. I had been in psychiatry. I had been living in hell. I woke up in that nightmare. And so I'm learning now 13 years later, and my journey got really, really, really challenging in year 13. Like it was challenging the whole way through, but all of a sudden year 13, and it's because the ego. Kenneth, I remember a long time ago when Tina was still around, you blurted out, the ego's trying to kill you. And I was like, what? And I wanted to know more. And you recognized immediately that it was way above our heads. And you kind of, tried to backtrack, but it's impossible to backtrack with me. And I didn't get it. But I'm really, really starting to understand like this split mind that I have. There's the ego. And you know what? It's kind of trying to kill me. I'm really recognizing that that's the part of me that is so destructive. That's the part of me, not like, and very self-destructive, but secretly, I want to hurt other people too.
Oh, not secretly in my story.
It's so noticeable to me now.
This is perfect, Jody, because how many people in the New Age community are pretending like they're not violent? And I can read it. I can just read it like the back of my hand. When I know underneath all this unicorns and rainbow, there's actually violence. And that's what we've been trying to do for thousands of years, is to push down the violence, because we would call it sin and we were ashamed of it. But when it starts to come out, this is where the action happens, because this is where the alchemy, and this is where you could hear and see, those who have eyes to hear and ears to hear and eyes to see, that the ego is trying to kill us. It's not our friend. You saw it. There's no turning back. It's beautiful. Again, butterfly or bust. You can't not go back. You can't unsee this. And it's anybody else want to put words to this? Because this is what excites me. Because I know. Because and as far as the violence goes, let me share with the community what I've been going through. I had an altercation in Mexico, and I almost hit someone. I've never hit anybody violently, but that's I have to disclose and say that's what it's like when I get the unworthiness button pushed. I did exactly what I tell everyone else to do. I exited the restaurant. I practiced restraint of tongue and pen. I even apologized. I wasn't ready for the apology, but I wanted to get past the personality as quickly as possible so I could enter into the transformative alchemical hurt. It's without the story. If we can be with that hurt, whatever feeling it is, just be with it long enough, it will eventually burn another hole in the cocoon from the inside out. More light's going to come through. This is not violent. This is evolution. It's the next stage that we will take to emerge from all. I'm not mentally ill. I never have been, never would be, but I didn't have these tools before. Now with these tools, I get to become real. Velveteen Rabbit did not become real because he stayed in the child's toy box, in a nice, climactically controlled playroom. The Velveteen Rabbit became real because he was left outside and he thought it was the end. Yeah, it was the end of the stuffed animal and the beginning of the real bunny. Jody, this is the beginning of this beautiful light inside. And you are inside of Mordor's, the Battle of Mordor. I am thrilled to be, here, with my sword and with my, that's what Jesus was saying. You carry a sword, because we're going to fight those imaginary dragons until we realize they're imaginary, not real. But until we face them, we're going to believe they're real, and we're going to spend our lives running in circles.
I like that you changed it to face them instead of fight them, because, when we fight them, we're making them real. So, and this is a very tricky process. Let's say that it's new for all of us. It's new for all of us. There's no, you think you're there. That's the ego. Oh, I made it. I got it. I know it. Now I figured out what happened and I'm fixed now and I've done it all. I've been through the worst part and blah. No, it is about facing it. It's facing everything, not fighting it. Fighting it, I think, is repressing it, denying it, trying to explain it away, not seeing it, welcoming it, because once we look at this stuff, you can't see it. There's nothing. It isn't nothing. You see, oh my God, I've just been thinking like this. Oh my God, it's just the way my mind has been programmed, and I've just habitual to think these things. And we're at a frequency now. We're escalating. Our frequency is escalating. This is why we're in turmoil. It's a tumultuous time now. Just to stir things up, to make sure it's all coming out for us to deal with.
Beloved, I have to add this. I hope this doesn't sound trite, but it's so applicable because you're right. Thank you for the vocabulary is very delicate here. The words that we use have to be precise. You're right. Face it. And this is why it's psychiatric sobriety. What is fear? In the old model, it was fuck everything and run. In the new model, it's face everything and recover.
I love that.
Oh, fear. So this is a very simple model here. There is nothing. I said last week, I have not said anything new in 2 years. But if I repeat it long enough, for myself to hear it, because I spent 2 hours last night in bed ruminating over an episode in Mexico, feeling violent, until I finally just said, I can't do this anymore. I can't apply a spiritual principle. I can't do it. It was, for God's sakes, it was 3 a.m. I didn't have any spiritual modalities until I finally said, remember what you said to your mighty companions last week on the Zoom call. Just allow it and trust. That was the best I could do at 3 a.m. I fell back asleep. And then I woke up and the answer was waiting for me. This is hard work, folks. It takes courage. But our backs are up against the wall. And the only way out is the chick that's inside this yolk. It's become putrefied. The only way out is for us to kick out that shell. And that's not the perfect metaphor, but you all hear it. How's that for you, Marcy? You gotta unmute yourself.
Marcy.
Marcy, can you unmute yourself?
Can't hear you.
Yeah.
Am I there?
Mm.
I was given a memory this week. I don't have very many memories from being a child, but I think it's so perfect for what Jody's going through. When I was in second grade, we had an aquarium in our classroom, and it was full of branches, and they had little monarch butterfly cocoons on them. And our class was, every day looking at this aquarium and waiting for these butterflies to come out. And so it was super exciting. I've always been like a real, I've been so drawn to nature. So this was really important to me. And I remember I was so excited. They're all hatching. And I remember that they all hatched, and there was one in there left, and it was about like half out of the chrysalis, I guess you call them. And it was struggling and struggling. And I'm looking, little Marcy is looking, and I'm like, me, ever since I was a little child, I'm like, I want to help it. I want to, like my heart was just breaking. It sounds so ridiculous to say that, but I wanted to help that little butterfly. And my teacher, she's like, Marcy, if we help it and help break that cocoon, all the muscles it's building while it's breaking out aren't going to develop. And when it does get out, it will die. So we have to sit here and watch it struggle.
Yeah.
I was given that memory, which is really weird. Like I said, I don't have very many memories. And I'm looking at Jody like I'm having that same experience,
Yeah.
and I'm seeing it as beautiful. She's strengthening. We're here. We're strengthening. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's,
Well, to be honest with me, I was just kind of like, God damn it, why doesn't anybody fucking help me? I really wanted help so fucking bad. And I was bitter and I was angry because I didn't have help,
yes.
because everybody abandoned me.
Yes.
But,
Yes.
oh Lord, I guess it's a good thing. I guess it's a good thing.
Marcy, I think we're honing in on the topic for this week. The struggle makes us stronger. Something close to that. You've come up with about 3 or 4 topics already, so this is fit. Because you're right. That this requires outside support, because it would be real easy for me to go back into I can't go back into my old behavior. Call someone up and tell them a story. I can't do that anymore. I have to face it and trust it and allow it. And then, here we are at 12:19 on a Sunday morning, and all of a sudden we're all assembling and we're all in it together. And one by one, what is it called? The Course in Miracles calls it a chain of atonement. We're marching side by side out of the dark forest, out of the cocoon, whatever you want to call it. We are marching. We are soldiers. We are comrades. So I keep using the analogy Mordor in the last battle, and never underestimate a hobbit. Time. All these allegories are pointing towards one simple message. Only difference is we've all been on psych meds, benzodiazepines, or diagnosed with mental illness. Enough is enough. Popeye's going to eat his spinach. It's all I can stand. I can't stand no more. Mental health or bust. We're getting connected. We're all butterflies. We're not settling for anything less.
Thank
And
you, man.
everybody's on this journey. And I love what you said, Marcy, is if you had helped that, but in your mind, oh, I'm going to help. And you know, the course talks about it. There's a saying, the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Mm,
You know, we have these stories, somebody should help me, but do we really want help?
mhm,
You know, that butterfly was say, help me. That butterfly is, you know, motherfucker, don't touch me because I won't develop my, you know, I'm saying he might have been like, no, I'm trying to develop my, you know I have to do this myself. I don't know, because, you know, of course I've been where I wish other people would do it. But you know what? I also know how I am when I have felt resentment to someone who has tried to help me and they feel they have done it and I should be grateful to them, you know, that kind of thing. It's like, I don't
Yeah.
want to give them credit because I did the work, even though they did do something, but I, you know, it was still me. But it's kind of this thing, we want this help, but we want to be able to say, and I did it all myself. You know,
I
I get all the credit.
I'm sensing this is the very simple nuance is that we don't want help. We want love.
Yeah.
We want someone to be with us and just, I'll do
Thank
this no
you.
matter what.
Thank
I'm
you.
going to go through this, you know, if not in this lifetime, some lifetime, just be with me. And that's what Jesus said to his disciples, you know, just sit with me while I pray. They all fell asleep. He said, oh, God. And you know what? That's what we get to do for others. We get you. We know what love is now.
Thank
Love
you
is
for
how,
that.
Yes.
That is key because
um,
I know I'm here helping a friend from surgery and she wants people to be independent, do everything. And I said, well, I'm here. I'm supposed to be helping you. You ain't let me. And I'm like, oh, I'm just here to love on her. I
Mhm.
thought I was here to do this, that, and the other, but just
um,
what you said, I'm just here to love on her.
yeah,
only a butterfly can do that.
I had a
Welcome
couple of
home.
sponsors I had to fire because they wanted to help me, and I thought I wanted help. I thought I wanted a sponsor, but I really just wanted somebody to believe in me. And they, you know, they told me what to feel, what not to feel, what to think, what not to think. This is good, this is bad thoughts, this is, you know, think this, don't think that, feel this, don't feel that. And it really fucked with me. And I'm still in a state of fear. I'm still in a state of lack of confidence. And I know for me, I've just, you know, I tried to get out of my, you know, comfort zone and I failed. I got hit by another car. So I'm back again, but I got to get out again. I got to get out because I've been in this sick zone for about a decade and I have just got to get out. If I don't, I will die. You know,
Greg, I
I will
guarantee,
stay in there. I will stay in the cocoon and I'll die in there. I really will.
I
You know,
guarantee,
the hardest part was being sick and not able to get out of it and knowing that's what I need to do. So it's been like a real thing of like, do I leave now? Do I come out? You know, do I have the capacity? And I don't know where my strengths and weaknesses are, but I'm trying to get out of it. And, you know, it's a lot of back and forth. You know, I don't know when to leave, when to stay. It's very confusing for me. It's very confusing. And it is scary. It's been very scary for me. But I know I can't stay in the fear, and I also know I'm sick. So I don't know really where my boundaries are, when to get out, when to leave. So I'm just like, you know, I feel like I kind of like a deer that's like been just born sitting there with all that embryonic fluid and just like struggling to get up, you know, trying to use its legs and everything, but just having a hell of a time. You know, I'm really at that stage. I just don't know quite what to do. But
Greg,
yeah,
that's
I'm pissed for
beautiful.
being abandoned, but I guess it was a good thing. It was a very good thing.
That's a beautiful, eloquent,
Yeah.
descriptive, poignant outline
Yeah.
of what the birthing process is like in your story and was like in my story. Greg, thank you for sharing my story for me. Thank you. Yeah. Because if we knew how to do this, no one knows how to. No one. Not one of us knows how to do this. It is a matter of, just like, Jody said, on our knees, surrender, help, show me. I can't, he can, I think I'll let him.
And you can't access these answers where you are right now, Greg. Your energy is so low. When we look at these Zoom meetings, sometimes our frequency is like up here, right? Sometimes we show up, our frequencies is down here. And so know that when your frequencies are low, there's no answers down here. Really, there's hopelessness. I'm caught, I'm stuck, I don't know what to do. Yeah, good. Know you're there. Accept it, welcome it, wallow in that until you can get back up to feeling better, which you will. You don't know that right now because I can see how you're feeling because you're a whole different person. You don't even look like yourself. I didn't see your dimples yet. So I got you there. But I mean, that's what's all to think about is we're just new at this. I've been at this game for a long time, like Kenneth. I mean, a longer because I'm a lot older than him. I've been at this a long time trying to stay up where their answers and my life is, and not down where I think there's just no hope and it's dark. So this is the course calls it elusive happiness. Even if you think your answer is to get out and have your own this and whatever picture you have painted that will be the answer to make you feel better. That's all I'm going to say. The point of this journey is this inner thing to really work on all these feelings and really processing it, because they're going to keep coming up. Even once we deal with this, that iceberg just gets revealed more. It's an iceberg under here. We all got an iceberg of mental illness. That's what we are. We just big iceberg with this little tip out looking sane. But the rest is all under here, just emerging out, right? That's a good analogy. This emergence come a peak at a time. When we can get into this frequency of truth, reason, love. Reason is part of sanity. I'm going to tell you that. When you look at how you're thinking, and if you write even down your thoughts, you'll look at it another time and say, oh, I must have been crazy then. You see what I'm saying? Because the ego is crazy. There's no reason to it. There's no reason. Reason will bring you to sanity and love and the truth, which is what we're all here for. That's the only place where we all can join, is in feeling better. Feeling better. Feeling better is God's gift, grace's gift, Holy Spirit's. All of us deserve this, and it's all waiting for us when we're ready. And until then, love is waiting for us all.
I just know I have some
Can
real
I say
good.
hi to everybody?
Yeah, Kathy, I was going to call
Kathy.
on you next. Hi, Kathy.
I feel so invisible.
Sorry, I
Wow.
was going to get to you next.
So first of all, hi everyone.
Hello.
How are your souls doing today? So just to go back to the butterfly, I have moments where I feel that butterfly, like the caterpillar, emerging into the butterfly, and it's like, wow. And it just feels so good and so peaceful and so happy. But then, most of the time I have these caterpillar cells that just want to remain as caterpillar cells. And I am learning the only way to get through that, whatever, you know, words come as darkness or pain or whatever.
Mhm.
I just need to love everything.
Mhm.
There's no reasoning, there's no thoughts, it's just love, love, love everything that arises. And that is what is helping me. I started practicing, I don't know, a few months ago, just on a soul level. Like there's someone, I don't know if you guys know Dr. Dr. Master Shaw.
Mhm.
But
Dr.
he's a
Shaw. Okay.
Western medicine doctor, Chinese medical doctor. He has so
Mhm.
many like certifications and like,
Yeah.
you know, martial arts, qigong, whatever. And so now he says, none of that stuff matters. We don't need to work on any of that. We need to work on our soul. And when we work on our soul, everything else will be okay. Everything, physical, mental, spiritual, emotional. And so recently, I'm 3 weeks ago, left all my stuff in my apartment, moved to Toronto, you know, so much fear, so many caterpillar cells freaking out. And I moved into a horrible situation, you know, where I was walking on eggshells because there's like abusive everything going on with this couple I was living with. And I knew I needed to get out. I've been looking for a place, you know, and then I have a teacher in that, like the Tao, TAO, whatever philosophy. And she always says, you know, get out of that victim role and start forgiveness, forgiving. Just keep asking for forgiveness. Like, I'm sorry, the Honoponono, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And so I was attacked on Thursday by the roommate. And oh my gosh, I finally, you know, I let them have it. I spoke my truth the night before. I finally stood up for myself. And I had a really good sleep for the first time. And the next day, he made sure he woke up early. Like he was, you know, he didn't like that. So he attacked me on every level, even physically. And I just kept doing the forgiveness thing. I said, back off, you know, you can't touch this. And then after, just kept doing the forgiveness. So it was a dog barking. And then I reached out to a couple of, you know, these people in Toronto. They're part of the Tao, whatever it's called, community. And right away, he found a friend, and this friend said, come on over. There's, you know, space upstairs in the house. I met the landlord. She said, yeah, you can move in. And now I'm in this beautiful space by myself with this guy living downstairs who's like a protector, and a dog, beautiful puppy. So it's like, I'm still not settled because, like, holy shit, I've been through, oh my God, it's been so crazy. But at the same time, I'm in a safe place now where I can finally just let it all go and let it all, you know, start to really process things. And I don't even know where I am yet. Like, I just got here last night. I have no idea how I'm gonna get to school. But my point is, all I've been doing is chanting. Like there's chants, there's souls in each of our chakras. And I've been chanting with the, you know, the chant of the soul. And it's like, I don't know. It's I can't explain it, but it's saving my life. Anyway.
I've got to point out this smile that every time Joni turns on her camera, there's a huge smile. Greg, when you were speaking, Jody was smiling. Kathy, when you were speaking, Jody's seeing something. I mean, when that smile says, I see into you. Before I go on to the next, I got to comment on something that Beloved was saying. You know, I'd like to say that I'm here in order to feel better, but the truth is, I'm here to get better at feeling.
Yes.
That's not mine, by the way. I stole it from Teal Swan. Jody, if we do a round robin, you could be next in line. You got to unmute yourself.
I've been listening to a lot of David Hoffmeister lately, and he says the miracle is a shift in mind. When I listen to Greg, I think it was Calico who said, Jay, show me the giggle, get me to the giggle. How can I say this without you taking it personally and getting upset with me? It's going to happen anyway. I'm just fucking laughing at the stories that I hear. Greg, I used to live in those stories too. I introduce you to your ego mind, and I welcome you to just look at that. Look at all of that stuff that your mind comes up with. Just look at it. No judgment. This is what forgiveness is. We look at the error without judgment. And it's just like, so I'm hearing, and it's just, I'm seeing the giggle in all of it. And I'm not laughing at you. I'm not laughing with you. I'm laughing at the absurdity of this dream, this nightmare that the ego comes up with. We're only one mind. So your ego story is my ego story. And then we move on to Kathy. Kathy, I studied with that Tao Grandmaster for 8 years. And so I am laughing my ass off at your story for completely different reasons. And so I see things differently from where I am. It's all, Greg, you're a walking miracle. And thank you for allowing me to witness you. Kathy, you're a walking miracle. And thank you for allowing me to witness you. Raina, beloved, oh my fucking God. You're a walking miracle. Thank you for allowing me to witness you. Marcy, goodness gracious, you are a walking miracle. Thank you for allowing me to witness you. Kenneth, the holder of our space.
Gosh.
Fuck, man. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And it's all so funny. And Calico gave this gift to me the first time when she came on this space, and I was laughing like the whole time. I had I get these weird pains in my cheek because of for my first 7 years of life, I didn't laugh. So I had never developed those laughing muscles. And so and Kathy, it began with learning about the soul. Fucking ride that wave. There's power there. There's just as much power as you give it. There's just as much power as you give it. I just walked away 6 or 7 months ago. So you go, girl. You ride that wave. So yeah, at this point, I'm just like, it's all so funny. You guys are all so funny. I'm so funny. And all I see is love and laughter. And I finally get it. The role of the miracle worker is to accept the atonement for themselves. Hallelujah. And then my ego is going to fucking backfire as soon as we end this call. So somebody accept, please. I'm calling you afterwards because you know the drill. I'm on cloud 9 here. I get it. And my fucking ego is going to try to take me the fuck down. Yeah. I can hear it already. I got all these roommates. All of these roommates have moved back in, and it's like mental illness walks back in a really big tsunami way. And I'm just learning, this is just my ego script. This is what I get to wake up from. Yeah. David Hoffmeister posted a really great video about how to heal dissociative identity disorder with the Course in Miracles. And holy shit, if you guys you want to learn about what mental illness is, it's ego. That's all it is. And when somebody asked that question, he just laughed and laughed and laughed. And so this is I get, when you get it, when you're at that miracle stage where you're seeing it, that's what the miracle is. I'm just seeing it differently. I've gotten to that stage where right now I see it through the miracle. I see it through the eyes of Christ, through the eyes of love. And it's all just so funny. And I love you all so much.
This document, Jody, we are documenting the actual procedural, visceral, direct experience of those two minds, the devil and the angel, what they call it. You're right. It's dissociative disorder is just the identification with the ego. But this is ground zero right here, right now, because just like you, I'm going to get off this Zoom call and I'm going to need to talk to somebody perfect, because that's exactly what David Hoffmeister says. David Hoffmeister calls it, the Course calls it mighty companions. David Hoffmeister says, we can't do it alone. We can't exit this we can't sit in a cave and meditate our way out of this. It's through the relationships. And the other thing I want to say, Jody, thank you. Here's what you gave to Greg and for the entire, archive, is you prefaced to Greg that you were going to laugh, not at him, but at the stories that he shared, that all of us are carrying the one. Now, this is important, because if we just come out here and start giggling, this will happen. This will happen on the journey, is we will pour our heart out and somebody will start giggling, and it will backfire towards us, and we will think they were laughing at us. But Jody, you've got enough training, you've got enough wisdom, you've got enough empathy and compassion, not false empathy, but you've got enough real empathy and compassion that you prefaced to Greg before, that what the giggle, the parameters of the giggle itself, and he got it, and I got it, and I heard it. We're refining this. And the last thing I want to note is, for the YouTube audience, Calico, it was in the same boat as all of us. She was pissed off, she was angry, and she became violent. Perfect. Out of that, and she also gave herself cancer. Out of that, not in spite of it, but because of it, Calico Hickey has gone on to become one of the way showers and light bearers and lighthouses and luminaries of our time. No authored books, no website, no gigantic, onstage performance. It's through the humility. She lives in a very small room at Namaste in Ahihik. But out of that small room and out of that humility pours from that woman a ray, which might as well be coming from the center of the universe. And all of us have experienced it. That's a wounded healer, because it's coming from that place, because she has unbelieved the dream character, and she's emerged with her butterfly wings. I had to go on that diatribe. I hope that
I want to say something to Kathy that I think is so important and really has been a big part, if I can remember, and that's that appreciation and gratitude space. I mean, that's everything. I mean, how else are you gonna love anything?
Yeah.
You can't. You're gonna be in denial and say, like in the saying, unicorns and butterflies, and you ain't feeling it, and you just fake it till you make it. But when you can really appreciate, I used to poo-poo at people who did gratitude journals and like, what do I got to be grateful for? I'm not doing that shit, But no, it's so, to me, essential. And that Kathy, that you had, I mean, we've watched your struggle here. So I think this is great for everybody, because when you can identify with regular, practical, everyday things that we all going to go through, finding housing, feeling, Gregory, your journey out the house and blah, blah. This makes it real for everybody who's struggling on that caterpillar level and saying, well, what does this metaphysical shit going to help me? Ain't going to help me pay the goddamn rent. Ain't going to help me find a place. But you know what, Kathy, I think you're a witness that you had to get to some inner peace, surrender, something, and the door's open. You couldn't have known. She couldn't know.
It was all forgiveness. Like I did this major forgiveness session, and I cried the whole time. I was just letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go, letting more go. And I guess, I came to that point of surrender, and all I know is I have to practice every moment of every day. And that's all that matters. That's my priority. So that's cool. Nothing else makes sense but to practice and to keep in touch with my soul and to love and be grateful for everything that comes my way. Because I've been through so much craziness in the past month, but everything that's been presented to me, I see now as so divine to get me, to a higher level, to a newer, beautiful home with a backyard right by the river with lots of nature. Ooh, I don't know.
Can I
I
say
don't.
something
Hi,
about
Marcy.
forgiveness? Hi. So I want to share something with you guys because it's kind of like a big deal for me. My intense journey here, it began about 2 years ago, and there was a lot of stuff going on that precipitated it. But one night I got really clear with myself, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to forgive, and I'm going to forgive my mother, and I'm going to forgive my family, or I'm going to die trying. I will forgive them. I decided I was going to forgive them. And so that's when I pulled out my blue book, my course book. I mean, it could be anything, but that's my path. And I've been doing this, daily. And I've had like some experiences of feeling that there's been little blocks of forgiveness kind of coming up. But I experienced something this week, and I can't, there's not words for it. It just, it's gone. My rage and hatred and pain it's just, I don't know how to describe it, but we're talking about this, and it kind of does sound like a bunch of woo woo, whatever, yeah, I'm forgiving, and I'm welcoming, and I'm doing all these things. But you guys, you know what? It's something I don't talk about. I started experiencing breathing problems about 2 years ago, and it was pretty bad. And I went to the doctor, got a chest X-ray, said everything's fine, so I just let it go, right? And I when I have really bad trouble breathing, I just sort of try to get back into my right mind. So it sort of reminds me to connect to spirit. So I've used it as that. But I can tell you that after this week, after this, whatever it is that got released or healed, or I don't know what, it's like somebody took a corset on me and loosened it. Like I can actually get a breath, and I really forgot what it felt like. And so this is real. This isn't just, this is, something's going on. Something's happening that's amazing. And
Yeah.
it's so hard. It's so painful. And it's
Necessary.
it is. And I feel like it's like I got this little, it's like you're on the right path, it's just a gift. And I realized that doing this work is changing things. It's changing. So I just wanted to share that with you.
Marcy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No.
Yeah, I know that like physically, like not because I'm a massage therapist, but because I don't know, I've learned that we hold different emotions in our bodies. And I know that we hold so much grief in our bodies. And yeah, like by just forgiveness alone, it breaks it all up. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, it's really about the soul suffering when the body suffers, you know. It's the body is a reflection of the soul. So yeah. You gotta fix that soul and that body gets better. And that's a great attitude. I mean, okay, bye.
I love all humanity. Join hearts and souls together. Love, peace, and harmony.
That was good.
I know my mission is a tonal thing, and so that's why I love Master Shop, because he's all about healing through sound. It's working for me, man. He says in his book, he says, beyond mind over matter, enter the universe of soul over matter. Heal and transform the soul first, then healing and transformation of every aspect of life will follow.
Now, this is perfect that you read it out of a book, because first it comes from a book, but watch the last 150 Sunday morning Zoom calls, because it's written down in the book, and here's where it's taking place. Marcy, good on you, perfect, Marcy. Greg, Jody, Kathy, and Beloved and myself is coming true in our stories. We're healing. We're putting our mental illness into remission. Cause and effect has been restored. The body's only effect. The cause is what we're thinking and believing. Shift what we're thinking and believing, and notice the effects. That's all Byron Katie has ever asked us to do, is just notice. Sometimes I think I'm going to heal the relationship with one specific person, but over there, 20 years ago, a fragmented relationship suddenly comes back into alignment. As if I really know what anything is for. But what you said, Kathy, was willingness. I'm willing to do anything. That's why I call it psychiatric sobriety, because these fundamental principles weren't written by me. Bill W. put them all up on the walls of every single church basement in the 1930s to sober up a bunch of drunks. Trouble is, what he didn't realize, and he didn't realize it, but he couldn't share it at the time, we're all a bunch of drunks. We're drunk on our thinking. Yes. We're a bunch of addicts addicted to our thinking. So we sober up from our thinking, and guess what? Marcy's breathing improves. Greg's smile returns. Kathy finds a place to live. Jody seems to find her giggle. Fill in the blanks.
That was beautiful, Marcy. Made me cry. That was, I think, to talk about forgiveness. What does that mean for you? What does that mean?
I heard Mike Tyson. We don't talk about this ascended master, Mike Tyson. He's got some wisdom. He was telling one guy, he said, he was mad at somebody. He said, are you telling me I don't have a right to make a boundary with this person? He said, what I'm telling you is that he's become your master. The person he was mad at. He says, you're a slave. And that really, because forgiveness is good, but that really hit home with me,
Forgiveness for me was with my mother. It was really, and it's very hard for me to verbalize how this kind of happened, but my forgiveness was really seeing that I'm forgiving myself, like not just seeing it, but feeling it, like feeling that this is not somebody outside of me. This is me. This, excuse my mouth, this fucked up, crazy, violent, vicious horrible in my mind, horrible person is me. That's me. All that rage, all that hate, all that violence, all that, and you know what? It's not real. It's just not. And it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. You know what I focused on this week was mentally and emotionally hugging my mother, hugging her, just hugging her and saying, you know what? I love you. Thank you for taking care of me as a little infant, and thank you for doing the best you could. But you know what? I just let that go. It's not there anymore. There's only something there for me to love. I'm not crying because I'm sad. I'm crying because I gave myself a gift this week and I can breathe. That proves that the gift was for me. You know, my body's responding, but that has not been my desire for these past 2 years. And it's part of the reason why I came to this group. This is part of my forgiveness. And it's not what you think it is. I'm not saying you did this horrible thing to me and it's okay. Nothing happened. It didn't happen. That horrible, horrible person is not it. No. And I can breathe. I can breathe.
Me too.
Mother wounds are wild.
Mm-hmm.
I am about to wrap up the recording. Marcy, that is why I record these. That is the miracle. Okay, I'll come out and say it. I have to. The holiest ground on earth is where an ancient hatred has alchemized into a present love. And as Marshall would say, bullseye, kiddo. Welcome home. The recording has got to come to an end, and I don't want it to come to an end on any other note other than what Marcy just shared with us. Because that right there is the whole purpose of this ministry and the whole message that we've come here, in close to 200 of these calls. So for Sunday, September 25th, this is Kenneth Price. I'm simply a steward of this beautiful community, psychiatricsobriety.com. If you're watching this on YouTube, please leave your comments below. But even more than leaving your comments, come join us at 9 a.m. Pacific time or 12 noon Eastern time, whatever time zone you're in, on Sundays, because we're just going to keep doing this. We're going to keep circling the wagons, and we're going to keep taking this gigantic belief, like we've talked about, and we're going to face it. And we're going to realize what Marcy did, is that it was never true to begin with. But courageously, we've got to go towards it, and we've got to enter it. And that's when we realize it was not what we thought it was. And then all these illnesses suddenly go into remission if they don't disappear at all. And that's my story, my experience, Marcy's experience, Kathy's experiences, Greg's, beloveds, and Jody's experience. And this is what we've come to document and to share with the world. This is our gift to the world. Emergence from mental illness. If you've been in psychiatry, diagnosed with mental illness or on tons of medications like I was, like so many of us were, watch these archives. I said too much. God bless, and may the force be with you. Okay, bye.